All right, let's talk about one of the biggest productivity secrets out there. I mean, what if I told you that you could get way more done by actually doing a whole lot less?
You know that feeling, right? Your day is just jam-packed, you're running around, checking things off your to-do list, but when your head finally hits the pillow, you feel like you've made zero real progress. It's just such a frustrating cycle. Well, here's the thing. The secret to breaking that cycle isn't about working harder or putting in more hours. Nope, it's about working smarter. The most successful people in the world use this one simple principle to get incredible results, and that's exactly what we're going to break down today. So, what is this game-changing secret? It's called the 80-20 rule, or if you want to get formal, the Pareto principle. And trust me, it's a simple idea, but it has the power to totally change how you look at your work, your business, and honestly, your entire life. Okay, so let's get right into the heart of it. The principle basically says that the link between what you put in, your effort, and what you get out, your results, is seriously out of whack. It's almost never a 50-50 split. Instead, a tiny piece of what you do, around 20%, is responsible for the vast majority of your results, like 80% of them.
And this is the part that can literally change everything. Just let this sink in for a second. The huge majority of your successes, we're talking about 80% of them, they come from just a tiny sliver of your work, only 20%. Isn't that wild? It's this crazy imbalance. And what it really means is that most of the time, we're spinning our wheels on things that just don't matter that much. The secret, the whole shebang, is learning how to spot that vital 20% and just focus on that.
And look, this isn't some brand new productivity fad. It was actually discovered over 100 years ago by an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto. And the story is kind of funny. He first spotted it in his own garden. He realized that a measly 20% of his pea pods were giving him 80% of his peas. That little observation led him to a much bigger one, that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by just 20% of the people. The pattern was just undeniable.
And once you know what to look for, you start seeing this pattern absolutely everywhere. Go on, think about your closet right now. I am willing to bet you wear about 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. The rest of that stuff, yeah, it's just sitting there.
This shows up big time in business too. It's almost a universal law that for any given company, a small group of customers, that top 20%, is bringing in 80% of the money. It's an incredibly powerful thing to understand. It even applies to our social lives, which is kind of fascinating. Think about it. A small handful of your friends, probably that core 20%, they're the ones who bring you 80% of your joy and your support. It's this fundamental pattern that's just woven into the fabric of reality.
Okay, so this is all great to know, but how do we actually use it? Knowing the rule is one thing, but putting it into practice is what really counts. The goal is to focus on what experts call the vital few, that 20%, and learn to ruthlessly ignore the trivial many.
So what's the big trap we all fall into? Well, it's our own brain. Our brains love that little dopamine hit we get from finishing easy tasks. So we get busy with the 80%, the small, trivial stuff, because it feels productive. But let's be real. Being busy is not the same thing as being effective.
So how do you find your golden 20%? It's actually pretty simple. Try this exercise. Write down a list of 10 things you need to do today. Now look at that list and ask yourself this one powerful question. If I could only do one thing on this list today, which one would have the biggest, most positive impact on my goals? Circle that one. Now do it one more time to find number 2. And boom, you've just found the 2 tasks, your 20%, that will deliver more results than the other 8 combined. And this is just a perfect example for anyone in business. It is so easy to get bogged down in low-impact activities, that's the 80%. Things like tweaking the company logo for the 10th time. But the real high-impact work, your top 20%, is actually validating your product and talking to your customers. That's the stuff that actually builds a successful company. But here's the best part. The magic of the 80-20 rule doesn't just stop when you leave the office. You can use this exact same mindset to level up pretty much every single area of your personal life, from your money to your health.
Let's talk money for a second. We spend so much energy agonizing over skipping a $3 coffee. That's a classic 80% activity, a lot of effort for very little return. Instead, focus on the big 20% wins. A single phone call to negotiate your rent or to get a better deal on car insurance could save you thousands. That's a one-time effort for a massive ongoing reward.
Want some more quick 80-20 life hacks? Okay, here we go. For learning, read a book's intro and conclusion first. You'll get 80% of the core ideas right there. For dieting, Stop counting every single calorie and just focus on one big win, like cutting out sugary drinks. For fitness, focus on big, compound exercises that work multiple muscles at once. And for your relationships, be intentional about spending your time with that 20% of people who bring you 80% of your happiness. See, this logic works everywhere.
So, as we start to wrap this up, the most important thing to get is that 80/20 isn't just another productivity trick. It's a fundamental shift in how you view the world and, more importantly, where you choose to put your energy.
But look, I'm not going to lie, living this way isn't always easy. It means you have to get really good at saying no. It means you have to consciously decide to let go of the 80% of tasks, distractions, and maybe even relationships that aren't serving your biggest goals. It honestly takes real courage to focus only on what's truly essential.
And that's why I absolutely love this quote from George Bernard Shaw. To really live the 80/20 way, you kind of have to be a little bit unreasonable. You have to push back against that normal idea that more is better and that you have to do everything. All real progress, all the big breakthroughs, they come from being selective and focused enough to go all in on that vital few.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. In your work, in your health, in your relationships, what is the vital 20% that's already giving you 80% of what you want? Find it, focus on it, and I promise you will unlock a level of effectiveness you never even thought was possible. Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.